could be seen here. The reason could be here with what we understand from the analysis, presence of higher number of Turks and offshore vessels in the region due to presence of some major ports like Mumbai Port Trust, JNPT. The data which was extracted from 1st January 2022 to 30th September 2022, which is around 9 months. The total number of coastal vessels captured are 816. Understand that out of 816 coastal vessels, the average age of coastal vessels is 17 years, in which you could see the graph here, number of vessels versus age group. 205 vessels are falling under 11 to 15 years, which is highest here. Next slide talking about the tug, which is the highest in numbers in coastal vessels, followed by bulkers, and then subsequently talking about anchor handling tug supply. We could also see that the local shipyard building the coastal vessels are less than 25% only. Majority of the taken care by Korean and Japanese. In the next slide, you can see here, Korean and Japanese shipyard are the top builders in the Indian coastal fleet. And then we have some shipyard, for example, Bharti shipyard, which is not in operation now. Then we have Cochin shipyard, which is building a lot of coastal vessels as of now. ABG shipyard is also on the list, but it is not in operation as well. We understand that local yards in India has the capability to deliver zero emission vessels for both domestic and international clients. We have an example here. CSL delivers 2 autonomous electric barges to Norwegian firm. This is for ESCO project. And we all know about KMRL, which is a live example how the 23 boats are building in CSL, which will be running in operation very soon. Talking about the emissions, total about 50% of the total emissions are coming from the top 3 vessel type, which is tankers, containers, and bulkers. You could see the graph here, which is CO2 emissions versus vessel type. We have plotted the emissions on the map as well. So you could see the higher CO2 emissions observed mainly near southern west coast of India. These regions have major ports, as I talked before, about Mumbai Port Trust, Kandla Port, and the highest number of vessel segment here is tankers, containers, and tugs. Talking about other green programs, very successful program, Norway Green Shipping Program, which was established in 2015 on DNB's initiative, which was a collaborative project between government authorities and private sectors. This was widespread adoption of environmental friendly solution for shipping in Norway, which offered significant reduction in greenhouse gases emissions, which lead to sustainable growth and strengthen Norwegian goals to establish the world's most efficient and environmental friendly shipping. This program have about 44 pilot projects till date, in which 15 have been released and are under development. In the next slide, you can see here the participants who have been a part of this Norway Green Shipping Program. There are about 103 Norway private organization part of this, as well as there are 10 different government entities part of this Norway Green Shipping Program, which is very good to see here. Some of the pilot projects showing on the slide here, starting from 2015, they started with a small, and now they are in phase 5, having a lot of pilot projects in pipeline, and it is one of the successful program globally. Talking about other green shipping programs, we have a very famous IMO Norway Green Voyage 2050. Then we have a Global Center for Maritime Decarbonization, we call GCMD, which is based in Singapore. And then last, we have the Maersk McKinley Moller Center for Zero Carbon Shipping. Of course, something similar can be adopted in India as well for Indian Green Coastal Shipping Program. Talking about potential opportunities for Indian Coastal Green Shipping Program, this slide shows the growth over the past decade in Indian coastal shipping, starting from 2011-2012 to 2020 to 2021. We could see the graph which is increasing. And of course, we have a lot of potential to have increasing in the future as well. Talking about the renewable electricity in the coming decades, India has a great potential for sure. Example I have put it, Keppel Infrastructure Holdings Private Limited and India's Greenco Group signed a memorandum of understanding for green ammonia opportunity. This was signed, I think, 2 months back. It seeks to jointly explore green ammonia and renewable energy opportunities to meet the growing demand for low carbon energy in India, Singapore, and the rest of the world. So this is one of the great example where we see that India has a great potential to be a global supplier for renewable electricity. Some other initiatives from government, the National Action Plan for Climate Change, NAPCC, which is in 2008 to depict the adverse impact of climate change. I could see that government is emphasizing very much on hydrogen as well. So we have a national hydrogen mission which is launched in 2021 to aid the government in meeting its climate targets and making India a green hydrogen hub. Lastly, Maritime India Vision 2030, which is a great report formulated by the Ministry of Port, Shipping and Waterways to propel India to be a forefront for global maritime sector. Some potential challenges, put it in the white paper for Indian Coastal Green Shipping Program. We understand that technology is still maturing and uncertainty on future fuels availability. There is no silver bullet currently, so we are still looking forward for it. Fuel availability depends on investment from upstream industry. We could also figure it out, the lack of supply infrastructure is in India as of now. Potential lack of financing and alternative green solution. National goals not established for domestic shipping and no incentive scheme is in place at the moment. Talking about there is lack of knowledge sharing platform for stakeholder interaction. We believe this is very much required for proper facilitation and it will be a successful collaboration if we have a common or a single platform where all the stakeholders can come and share the knowledge. Talking about the current workforce, we believe that they are not equipped to handle green alternatives technologies at the moment. So of course, there is a shortage in the supply of skilled personnels worldwide. Predictions of the future skill needed for technology developments. So of course, if we talk about the greener solutions in coming future, we have to also build our crew as a modern education into it. Green alternatives for coastal shipping. Talking about some measures here, which can be classified mainly into technological, operational, fuel, and other measures. First is technological measures, which have optimization hull, propeller design, battery hybridization, onshore power and charging. Second, talking about operational measures, then fuel measures, other measures. Many measures are available to reduce ship greenhouse gases, such as which are mentioned on the screen. And this will definitely help to reduce the emission. Some alternative options here for giving how we can reduce the emissions. And I believe that alternative fuel have the potential to give 100% emission reduction here. If you see the fourth row here, fourth column here, the energy, which says 0 to 100% of the emissions can be reduced. And there are other fuel options as well. For example, talking about LNG, LPG, biofuels, methanol. Yeah. LNG produces the lowest CO2 emissions of all relevant fossil fuels. However, the cleanest fuel is hydrogen produced using renewable energy. And point to be noted here is the carbon footprints of methanol and hydrogen produced from natural gas are larger than those of HFO and MGO. This is from DNV's AFI. Maritime Knowledge Cluster in India. India accounts for 280K compensated gross tonnage, which is capturing about 0.5% of the world shipbuilding market share and is ranked 19 in the world. China, South Korea, and Japan dominate the world's shipbuilding industry, taking up the lion's share of 90%. India ranked third in number of maritime training institute globally. You could see on the screen, United Kingdom has 108 maritime education institute, which is highest among the countries in the world. USA and India have 53 and 51. Most of the institutes in India are located mainly in the west coast of India. This can be useful for when you look forward for a cluster formation. Some recommendations based on the cluster. India can develop its maritime ecosystem working on the identified gaps and adopting successful global model. India's global share of shipbuilding is less than 1%, significantly below the 5% aim outlined in Maritime Agenda 2010-2020. India's education and research institutes operate independently with few industry collaboration, which lowers the level of go-to expertise available in rival international education institutions. The existing institutions also provide few courses alternatives and have minimal affiliation with businesses and universities worldwide, limiting student exposure to new technologies and development in the maritime industry. Further, knowledge sharing between industry education institution is low. The Maritime Vision 2030 blueprints recognizes lack of collaboration issues and has identified initiatives to boost linkages and knowledge transfer between the industry and institutions. Potential regions in India where green shipping cluster can be set up are Gujarat, Mumbai, Goa, Cochin, Chennai, Visakhapatnam, and Kolkata. Key enablers and industry actors throughout the shipping value chain could be nationally and locally in maritime cluster must be identified and encouraged by facilitator to be a part of the systematical collaboration program. Cargo owners and purchasers of transport services must be involved in all interactions as these parties, together with government authorities, can make the decision that will have the greatest impact and trigger the green shift. Green shipping cluster should have participation from all the enablers in value chain members in maritime ecosystem in India. Here, regulators and policymakers, ports and ports-related services, shipyards and technologies, knowledge providers, shipping services and related associations, and other related maritime services. So this should come together and form green shipping cluster in India. Some key recommendations from us, starting from set national climate target and political ambition for domestic shipping, establishing maritime cluster and increase cooperation between industry actors throughout the value chain, developing short-term and long-term plans for green coastal shipping, create market for green technology, reinforce the ship owners' financial capacity and access to capital, establish infrastructure for green shipping, train the workforce to adopt to greener technology, pilot green project for short sea shipping and inland waterways, inclusion of zero emission transport requirement in public procurement processes, introduce CO fund and support scheme, maximum utilization of multi-modal transportation, continued investment into R&D and coordination of activities of research institutes and maritime university. These are the key recommendations to fast-track the green transition in domestic shipping in India. Thank you. That is what I have.
Yeah, Jay, thank you very much. I think we have a lot of questions, but due to the paucity of time, we are not embarking into that because next week, you are going to release the formal.
Yes. I would say that just give us one more week. We are just finalizing the report that will be published, and we will definitely send out to all those who have given the inputs here. Just give us one more week.
Yeah, just to sum up the thing, instead of the generic suggestions, can you just tell us less than five weaknesses, 5 strengths, and 5 recommendations from Indian perspective?
Should I put it in the paper, or should I tell you now? Is it?
You can tell. Yeah, means just indicative on that. Yeah.
I have to refer the report then, because then in that case.
Yeah.
There are not 5. There are a lot of things which we need to be look into it. Talking about weaknesses or strengths, there are many recommendations, many challenges what we have put it in the paper. I would strongly recommend that all the stakeholders involved in the shipping industry in India should go through the report. And of course, we all can set up a program like what we have in Norway Green Shipping Program, and this will definitely help us. Yeah.
Okay. Now you are setting that we need to set an ambition and all. What could be the ideal ambition for us?
I would say that to come together and look into the challenges what we are facing. First of all, all are talking about decarbonization, but when we speak about which fuel to be used in the ship
No, no. When we are talking about the ambition, it is very specific. IMO has one line, and India has said that is 2070 will be the net
2070.
zero.
Yeah.
Like that, if you are talking about the maritime sector ambition, what we do in your view? What could be ideal for us?
I believe we could be ambitious. We could set it less than that. But when I speak with a lot of stakeholders around, they say that 2070 is also over ambitious for India, considering their operability when we speak about different.
Yeah, you were telling about the green finance part also,
Yeah.
but we all know that the finance is required. Can you have some indication on that? What kind of suggestions would be there from your end?
I would say that, sir, of course, the funding part from green financing, there is a lot of work to be done there. I do not know how the government is taking ahead into it. Implementation is not in our hand. We could only give the recommendations on that. Look forward for the same.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you.
I think now turn on to the.
I have enough battery. Hello. Good morning, everyone. Pranav here from Lloyd's Register. Glad to be part of this program and being able to contribute. I'll quickly start on with the approach that we have followed in reporting the findings of the conclave. The report which will be circulated shortly, you would see